So if Yeshua's return is not imminent, if his coming is on hold until the Jewish people collectively believe in Yeshua, and if that belief depends even in part on us as Messiah followers provoking the Jewish people to jealousy, then the question remains, what are we going to do about it? What must we do to help save all Israel and therefore hasten the return of Yeshua? Well, the first thing we need to do is abandon the idea that Yeshua could come back at any moment. As long as we absolve ourselves of any responsibility for the timing of his return, we will remain completely unmotivated to act as agents of Israel's salvation. As Dr. David Stern puts it, the fact that Yeshua will not return until Israel receives national salvation is a powerful motivator for evangelizing Jewish people. Or at least it should be, but it's not. On the contrary, there are Christian doctrines that relegate Israel's national salvation to a time of tribulation, or at the actual site of Yeshua's coming with the clouds, or during some other so-called dispensation, none of which can account for Yeshua's own words in Matthew 23. We need to accept the fact that Yeshua will continue to wait on us until all Israel is saved. Second, we need to understand Yeshua apart from the identity he's been given in Christianity and restore his Jewishness as well as that of the New Covenant scriptures. A foreign God will never provoke God's people to jealousy. He'll only provoke them. And that's what Jesus is to most Jews. At best, a Messianic impostor, at worst, a foreign God. Being able to understand the New Covenant scriptures as a Jewish document and to portray Yeshua as neither the founder of Christianity nor as a rabbi of Judaism, but as the quintessential model of a scripturally faithful Jew is the necessary foundation for any authentic presentation of him as Israel's Messiah. Third, we need to stop treating our own edification and personal relationship with God as the goal of our walk with Yeshua, and instead remember that it was always supposed to be a means to an end, namely to prepare us to share Yeshua with others and make disciples. Even when it comes to Jewish things like Torah keeping and feast keeping, and especially things like debates about the name of God and so forth, these things are futile if they don't equip us and lead us to reach out with the unobstructed message of Yeshua's salvation. If we're constantly inward-focused or caught up in fruitless debates, we won't ever be the kind of people that will provoke jealousy in others, much less hasten the Master's return. We need to reflect Messiah in our actions and be ready with a biblical answer on our lips if we can ever have hope of being his true representatives and cause other people to be envious of what we have in him. Fourth, as Messiah followers, we need to be biblically correct and of the same mind where it comes to understanding the scriptures and how we see and interact with the world. For as splintered as the Jewish community is, a Jew is still a Jew, and that camaraderie and connection exists regardless of background, geography, and experience. For them to then look at us and see us not only as deluded or liars or hypocrites, but as hopelessly divided in our denominational and individual beliefs and practices, our collective voice will never be sufficiently multiplied to reach the national conscience of a people such as the Jewish people. We need to be perfectly united in the same mind and the same judgment, as Paul says, so that at every turn, the Jewish people are continually seeing and hearing one unified representation and message about the one true Messiah of Israel. And last, we need to purpose and be prepared to share Yeshua with Jewish people. As Paul says in Romans chapter 10, verse 14, "How then may they call upon him in whom they did not believe? And how may they believe on him of whom they did not hear? And how may they hear apart from one proclaiming?" Nearly every Jew on planet Earth today has never heard of the real Yeshua, but only a Christian caricature or a watered-down, unbiblical distortion. So it's up to us to set the record straight. Jewish people also need to hear not the pat Christian gospel message, but your testimony about how God saved you and changed you and transformed your life. But the part of the message that will really force them to face their destiny is how, in the beginning, sin broke the relationship between God and man, but that the God of Israel then chose to set apart every Jew by birth for the unique purpose of reconciling the entire world back to him. As Paul says to the Jews in Acts chapter 13, verse 47, quoting Isaiah 49:6, "For so has Adonai commanded us, Jews, I have set you as a light for the Goyim, the Gentiles, for your being for salvation to the end of the earth." And this carries even more weight when we hear the Master telling his Jewish audience in Matthew chapter 24, verse 14, "And this good news of the reign will be proclaimed in all the world for a testimony to all the Gentiles, and then will the end arrive." Every Jewish person needs to hear and understand that the only way to fulfill their destiny and purpose as Jews and to receive this God-given birthright begins with accepting that he has a long-lost brother named Yeshua, and that this Yeshua, the Son of God, is Israel's Messiah and the Savior of the world.